Yay! We're live.
Okay.
Everybody. Was waiting for a few people to come online, get notifications. I think it takes a few minutes, right?
I believe so, yes.
I think yeah. Oh, yeah, I think people are coming in. 2 people. 3 people. We should be on the Heritage Education Network Belize Facebook page right now. I know many people. I'm just getting messages that people are asking where we're going to go live. It's on the Heritage Education Network Facebook page.
Yeah, we can we can wait a bit for people to log in and join us.
Yeah. And then just wait. People can find us. Ronnie Martinez, hello from Cayo. Seeing comments, so definitely.
Okay, that's good.
We're accessible. We're live. We can wait like 1 or 2 more minutes.
You decide.
And see. Just so that people find us. Hi, Sylvia. Hello. April. Yes, it's working. I'm glad. Okay, so we have 14 people on.
Yeah. So I guess we could set a deadline to start. What would you want to start at 12:40?
Yeah.
Like 20 minutes to 1, or give people 10 minutes to join us, or?
I mean, so we can start soon, and you can introduce yourself in a bit.
Yeah, you decide.
There are more and more people. Oh, San Pedro Scoop. Hello. Well, we can wait until like it's 37 past now, so maybe like 1 more minute and see if we get more people. I guess as we talk and time passes, more people will join. We should start soon. Okay. Well, we have 25 people, and I guess more people can join. So I guess we can start.
Yeah, go ahead.
And first, I wanted to ask you, so hello everyone. We're really happy that you joined. This is a session with Lorenzo, who is the owner of Adventure Belize blog. And I'm going to ask him to introduce himself, but this is a session on the impact of COVID-19 on Belize tourism and what small businesses can do, how to prepare for the time when all of this ends. So I'm glad you could join us, and I will ask you, Lorenzo, to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about who you are.
Okay. Thank you, Ella. First, thanks for putting this together. Ella approached me via Instagram. She I guess she said she's been reading my website, my blog for a while, which is good. I know. And so she approached me and said if I wanted to provide any insight regarding COVID-19 and what are the potential impacts to Belize tourism. This is something that I follow really closely. I'm really invested in the success of tourism in Belize. I really care about that. It's been a passion of mine for the past 15 years, I would say. And so yeah, so the success of tourism is something that I am keen about. So yeah, so a little bit about myself. I am originally from San Ignacio and Santa Elena. I grew up there, and I moved to Canada 8 years ago. I went to the University of Waterloo. I did my master's in local economic development. The program is called the Master in Economic Development and Innovation. A lot of it involved being able to research the economy and provide strategy and just think about ways how you can improve the lives of everyone in a community, in a country, worldwide. It depends what your position is when you're an economic developer. Right now, I work as a small business advisor at Digital Main Street, which is a small nonprofit organization in Toronto, but we service all of Ontario. And initially, prior to the pandemic, I would actually go to the businesses and I would assess their business, and then I would provide recommendations on how they could improve and modernize technologies they can adapt, they can use to adapt, and so forth. But now, because of COVID, we went virtual, and now I do 3, 4, 5 meetings a day with business owners throughout the city, and I advise them via Zoom or it's sometimes FaceTime. It depends. But yeah, a lot of there's been for a while. There's been a pull here in Toronto, and I mean everywhere. There's been the market has been pulling people towards e-commerce, like being online, selling online, making it easy for people to do that.
Definitely.
And but now with COVID-19, it's a push. So the market is pushing people towards that, and people are reacting positively. A lot of people are joining e-commerce platforms like Shopify. I'm signing them up and I'm helping them design their websites, organize it, and just make sure it's like as if they spent $20,000 on a marketing agency. We work for 2 weeks and we are able to achieve that for basically free, other than investing their time. Anyway, that's a lot about myself. I took longer than I thought I would. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to thank you for answering me, and that you took the time to be here. I'm sure you're very busy.
Yeah.
So we're really glad that you could have a chat with us, because I think it can be really useful for the people. We definitely, our goal is also to help small businesses in Belize who are struggling right now. That that includes tourism businesses, but also includes smaller artisans, creative businesses who are tied to tourism and tied to foreigners coming in and purchasing their products. And in a way, it's it's a very bad situation right now, but also it gives some, at least I find that it gives some time and space to think about how businesses can improve. Businesses can use this time to find out new ways to improve their businesses. So we have some talking points that we want to go through. So I guess we have more people who joined now, so we can just jump in. But first of all, I wanted to ask you about the COVID-19 situation in Belize. I know none of us are in Belize right now, but in general, what is happening right now, if we could talk about it, and what has happened so far.
Yes. So the first case of COVID-19 was in late March, in Belize. It was in late March, much later than a lot of places. Patient number one was someone that flew from California to Belize and basically brought the virus with them. And this has primarily been the way how the virus has spread throughout the world. It's from places that are infected. Someone travels to another community, another country, and then it spreads from there. But the reaction by the government was swift, considering the unprecedented situation. I must commend the government, and also I commend governments throughout the world. I mean, most governments have been really good at this time, notwithstanding whether they are populist governments or if they're just liberal. They have been swift, and they understand. Slowly they've been learning. It's like, okay, at the beginning people didn't understand how tough it was. Like, I mean, in January everyone was like, okay, it's in China, it looks bad, but it's like it's happened before and it's probably isolated there, right? And then in February we noticed that, oh, it's in Italy, oh, it's bad, there's a lockdown. And then in March it's in the US. And so it has been something that progressed. Even personally for myself, I know I didn't really take it as seriously as I should have from the beginning, because I thought it was like, oh, it's just gonna be in China and that's it. But then as it went,
I think most people.
And I think this is something really important to consider whenever you wanna either evaluate the countries or the government's response to the pandemic. And then the government of Belize later on issued a state of emergency in late March also, and the borders were closed, and the PGIA, like the Philip Bolson International Airport, was closed, and like there was a curfew for all Belizeans initiated. So it was like,
and I just want to add, I was surprised. Sorry, I was surprised how the government acted on this, because you haven't had a coronavirus case officially before the government shut down. So most countries, I'm right now, I'm in Europe. I'm from Europe, and most of the countries, they shut down, when we've had hundreds, if not thousands, of cases already officially. And Belize haven't had any, and you shut down, and it's tough, and obviously it has its consequences. But Belize's numbers, I was just sitting at home being super worried. Oh my God, what's going to happen in Belize? Because the situation was devastating here in Europe. That was like, when it was the height of the situation. And I thought, okay. And then Belize's numbers hasn't increased significantly. So I checked the latest ones, and it's just 18 or 20 cases, which is
18.
Obviously not everyone can be way lower than the 2000s in Hungary, where I am, or the hundreds of thousands in Spain or in Italy. So it seems like the country reacted very quickly, and I think it's showing results, which is great in a sense. And I just wanted to ask, to just go ahead with our talking points, is do you think what is the sense of how bad this pandemic can get? So what do people think about it? Because some people I know think it will last a long time and it's going to be devastating. Some people take it quite light. We don't really know. So what are your thoughts on that?
I guess the first thing I must say is, like, no one really knows, right? It's so uncertain, and so I don't know. I think you can be hopeful because the entire world is working towards a cure or a vaccine. I mean, so I am hopeful in
Mhm.
that aspect, but honestly, we don't know. It all depends on the management of the pandemic. And and like I said, like I think I
Mhm.
partly answered this question earlier when I said, like, initially we didn't know how bad it was, and then more and more we know that, okay, it's here to stay for a bit, but it's going to be like, how will it be managed? Like, um, will will
Mhm.
we be able to implement the necessary steps for us to like reopen the economy so that there is like trade,
Mhm.
and like for there's some normal, like it's kind of normal, like, but like the new normal where people stay apart, and like 6 feet, and people wear masks, and people are conscious that they need to be like tested if they have symptoms, and there's supported
Mhm.
isolation from the government, because that's like super important. If the people are
Mhm.
are are participating because the government supports them, either by it's like social norms, or
Yeah.
is it because the government like supports them, like in financial terms.
Mhm.
But yeah, so based on
Mhm.
how bad it will get, I think it's like, honestly, we don't know, no one really knows, but it seems positive. I,
Mhm.
I mean, most countries are are flattening the curve, and and places like Belize have been able to. For the past 2 weeks, there hasn't been any new cases, which,
Definitely.
yeah, and according to
Yeah.
the WHO, it's like, if you have like 2 weeks of no cases, then that means that it's like a pretty, like, you're doing an excellent job at managing the pandemic, and so
Mm.
Belize falls within that. I mean, granted, we're not sure that maybe
Yeah.
there are a lot more people with cases, but they're not being tested. But this is why the solution is to stay home. Like,
Mhm.
if people stay home and are not like wandering the streets or socializing as if nothing is happening, then that's
Mhm.
another way to beat the pandemic. It's by just staying home, and not necessarily you need
Mhm.
to whether you have it or not. You just, if you stay home, then it won't be spreading.
Mhm. Many people are worried about several waves of infection. So we might be able to flatten the curve now, but as we reopen, people are afraid that the infection rate is going to bounce back up, which is going to require, a second wave of lockdowns. And how do you think that would affect the tourism industry?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it's really important to. Well, this is where government planning comes into place, to make sure that
Mhm.
when this first, like this, that the second wave doesn't
Mhm.
happen, or it's minimized. And the way this is done is by reopening the economy in
Mhm.
phases, and not being rushed to reopen the economy, because it's much worse. Like, people might think it's bad right now that
Mhm.
the economy is like basically in a coma, right? And but yeah, because it's
Mhm.
shut down. But it would be much worse if this re-happens again.
Mhm.
So I think patience is needed, and the
Yeah.
government needs to provide this information, and make sure people have the confidence that this
Mhm.
is the right thing to do. That you need to stay closed
Mhm.
for as long as it takes, until you can ensure a safe
Mhm.
reopening, or when you reopen, you have the measures in place for be
Mhm.
able to quickly test, um, do tracking, and also do supported isolation, and then, if that's the case,
Yeah.
then the second wave would either be minimalized, or it won't happen. But
Mhm.
there's also the hopes that,
Yeah.
I mean, there's like the US has like I read that there's like a potential cure. Well, and the cure is
Mhm.
opposite to a vaccine, which I want to get
Mhm.
get people pretty clear.
Mhm.
It basically means that you can catch COVID, but then it would help you get over it, versus a vaccine means that it prevents you from getting it, right? So, and the vaccine is the ultimate
Yeah.
goal, but a
Important.
cure would be great, because then it would minimize chances of people dying, and they, yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. And then in the tourism industry, I think, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's also important, to think about this potentially being a long-term situation and try to improve your business in a way that you go online, you offer shipping if it's possible, and so on, because that is a good, a relatively okay solution compared to not having any business at all. And that is, one of the things we're trying to help people with. And we have I just want to add, this is a Q&A, so those of you who are watching, please feel free to ask questions in the comments, because we're gonna, I'm gonna ask them. We have the first one. April asked, what do you think about the restrictions that have been lifted?
So I actually would like to wait to the end to answer any questions, because then that way, let's say they ask a question and we actually might answer it during the session.
Yeah, we can have the Q&A
at the end,
session at the end, but guys, feel free to ask the questions, because I see the comments, I make a note of it, and then I'm going to ask at the end. And then our next talking point is basically about the economic recovery that is expected. So what type of economic recovery is expected in the tourism industry, primarily?
So there's there's two types of economic recoveries. There's either the V shape or the U shape, and for a long time everyone thought it was going to be like a V shape where this comes and goes, and then immediately everything's back to normal. But the longer this goes on, we're realizing that there's actually more of a U shape. Hopefully, it's not that long until the economy recovers. But the hopes are that if the government manages the pandemic properly, right, then it's gonna provide confidence for the people to reestablish how they lived before, right? Or at least be comfortable enough to go about doing things like travel, once they are confident that, okay, the government is proactively doing temperature checks, or they are enforcing people to wear masks, or they have set rules out there for businesses to follow regarding hygiene and being and so forth. And this will basically fast track the reopening and the recovery if there's strategic plans in place by the government, and if the confidence is there that the government is doing a good job, which at this case I would say in Belize there is somewhat confidence that the government is doing a good job, or to the extent that they can do that, they know what that any government can do, because based on the uncertainty they are enforcing proper measures.
And then that kind of brings us to another topic of, what can the government do to help tourism in Belize, and to help tourism recover. I think, in my opinion, I think there needs to be a short-term plan and a long-term plan, meaning that short-term plan would be things that are quite urgent right now, definitely the healthcare situation and managing the pandemic and saving lives, and also saving small businesses and tourism businesses in Belize. That is an urgent issue right now. But then in the long term, there needs to be a recovery plan that helps businesses back on their feet. What do you think about that? What would be?
Yeah, well, right now the government should support businesses, and this is happening throughout the world. The government has found ways to alleviate what the current situation to the best of their ability. I know, for example, here in Toronto, the government is spending on providing a rent subsidy I maybe this doesn't like for businesses, and I don't, maybe this doesn't apply for all businesses in Belize because they own their property. But if you cannot pay your rent, right, or you have a mortgage or something, like the government has to help support the businesses so that they can either get a rent, like a rent or mortgage deferral, or that or they are able to easily access like loans that are half of it might be forgivable in the future, because the government's job right now is to keep the economy in a coma, right? So that you just basically keep the patient alive, so that when the pandemic ends, it can just like be waking up again and just go on, and this would speed the recovery, because otherwise there will be catastrophic damage, right? And I also think so long term, there's more that the government can do regarding, I mean, just taking in the lessons that this has shown. It's like shown that if you are over reliant on one industry, you need to be able to diversify your economy. And yes, I know this has been said over and over, and the government has maybe played a bit of lip service regarding this, saying that they have conducted strategies or whatever. But I think the current situation will demand that they do it, because they are realizing that it hurts them in their pocketbook, because then if there's no industries that are active right now, well, most industries aren't active, because the ones that are like the revenue generating one are out of are not working, are not active right now. Then it impacts the entire economy and the government. So you have to work on diversifying the economy, and this is tough, because then how exactly will you do this? Because it takes a lot of time and effort. This isn't like an overnight thing, but at least if more effort is put towards this, then maybe next time around when something similar to this happens, they would be more secure, and it would be a better outcome. Maybe do some more. A lot of people a lot of people in Toronto that work in like financial services, that work online in technology, some manufacturing, they have remained open during this time and are working, because the economy didn't. It's more like close contact industries that have been affected greatly. So if the government can create those other industries and develop them more, then there would be less people out of work.
Yeah. And also that kind of makes me think about, in the past 10 years, how important, sustainability has become, and sustainable development, and involving communities, and getting to more remote areas in the different countries, and involving people there, not just in tourism, in every areas of tourism. And I think with what is happening right now, we can see how badly it impacts the small businesses, and or just freelance, artists or artisans who sell their products to tourists on the beach. And so I think many countries now are realizing how important it is to come up with a development plan or an economic recovery plan for tourism that focuses on sustainability, and that focuses on getting to smaller businesses and involve them, because there's an entire segment that has great earning potential, but they're not supported. Do you think that sustainability in this way has a place in the economic development that should be?
Well, yeah, I mean, I actually think that
we could do?
No, I think that Belize does a good job at promoting sustainable tourism and sustainability, for its size, and for also the development stage that it is as a country. Like more can be done, but there is like efforts. I mean, let's talk about something like pretty simple. Like there's like masses in the US that believe that climate change isn't real, right? And I have yet to speak to one Belizean that says that climate change is false, right? So this is something that Belizeans need to be given a lot of credit for. There's really young population, and not like I said, like the country isn't in a high development stage, but yet people know and are in touch with the environment, and they trust that climate change is real, and versus like I said, the US, and there's like people here even in Canada, and I think it's often but sustainability, of course, is something that should be more pushed more by the government, and they can do that by maybe providing some subsidies for companies to invest in certain areas, like for example, like make it cheap for tourism businesses to invest in solar energy, right? Lower the costs of it, or even subsidize the cost of it, because in the end it will benefit not only the businesses will prosper and be better because it's going to be cheaper for them, but also the government will be able to move towards its goal of being more sustainable. Like, I mean, the government and the country as a whole, because the government represents the country, right? Like, and but there's like simple things like this, like subsidies and for this thing, and there is like also like and other things, like for example, which the government is doing, which is like pushing plastics.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, something simple like this, and they have
single-use plastic.
Single-use plastics, and they're introducing it in phases, right? Like they're educating the people, because I saw a video a few days ago that was talking about how it happens. Because so this is like a common mistake that I believe governments often do. It's like they enact a law or legislation, and they expect people to just magically know about it, and or magically follow, just blindly do it. But essential something essential to do is to perform educational campaign. Like you need to educate people on the benefits of it, and why it's important to be done. And when you get everyone on board, then it's more easily to not even you won't need to enforce as much, because everyone will be on board and be happy to comply.
I always find it great that when I contact tour operators or tour guides, they're always so enthusiastic, and they're always so open to sustainable solutions. I come up with the strangest, most random, we do this, would it be possible? And they're like, anything is possible, and yes, it's great. And they're very, very open-minded. And I think there's a great approach to sustainability, being that natural, ecological, or cultural sustainability in Belize. It is, it's harder to implement it in a way, because, as you said, it requires people to be open to it, to understand it, to manage it, to incorporate it in their business idea in a way that it can actually benefit them and bring them greater revenues and greater profits. But I wanted to talk a bit about, I think one of the most important questions of this session is what should tourism businesses be doing right now, and how can the tourism businesses prepare post-pandemic?
Okay, so
the times when.
Okay, so that's a two-part question. So first, I'll answer what they can be doing right now, and then I'll say what they should expect and what they should do for after the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah, so So first, I think right now they have to move from hard selling to soft selling, and this is mostly meeting people where they are, right? So people, so why would you be selling a trip to Belize next month, and if you know that that won't be feasible or possible, you know? People usually plan their vacations 3 months in advance, and this is like the typical person based on Google data. So I went to a Google seminar earlier this year, and the evidence is overwhelming that most people start looking at a destination that they will travel to and when they will go 3 months prior, right? And that's so yeah, I mean, I have hopes that yes, by next Christmas, by Christmas, there's gonna be some, like, the travel will start again, because this is what, like, a lot of people believe that by then there will be more options. Like, either there's gonna be a cure, or by then there's like potentially like a vaccine will be created, because there's like right now there's like some
Yeah.
there's one that is like getting a lot of attention from Oxford scientists. Like, they say that it seems very promising,
Yes,
and by September they're gonna be able to like maybe provide this to the public if it works. But anyway, yeah. So you should like you shouldn't be promoting anything to the US if people plan their vacations 3 months in advance. So you should wait for later on. So right now, what you should be doing is you should be educating the public, like, and showing them what you're doing. Like, what people are at home bored, right? So they want to be entertained. Show them different things, like, about Belize. Make them miss Belize. Make them desire that they want to be there. I saw like a really great video by Chaw Creek. So the owner of Chaw Creek did a video explaining how they closed down during this time, and that Chaw Creek will be waiting for them when they reopen. And this is like what people want. People want to be connected to them, and they were like, they miss being out in nature, being in exotic places with interesting people. So if you are able to like entertain them, make them feel like connected for a bit, that is the goal. And there's also like on Instagram, I saw like Hamanase Resort from Hopkins. They posted a Instagram series, is like a roam from home, and every day they feature a different adventure where people can follow on their phone, so their Instagram account. This is the type of marketing. This is called soft selling. You're not, yes, you're building interest from the person, but you're not telling them, purchase this from me right now, I want you to come.
Buy. Yeah.
That is unlikely to happen, right? So secondly, I think right now people should be checking up on their employees, right? Like, check, especially on the most vulnerable ones. If you can provide for them, do so. Help them if they can. Also, I think something that employers often forget is that there's a cost to rehiring and hiring. During this time, it would be likely that you lose your top employees and top talent, and they move on to somewhere else or whatever, because they didn't like the way how you treated them during the pandemic. And this is, the cost of hiring, like, is it is expensive, but people don't take it into consideration, like what it is to train someone new, especially if you have a loyal employee. This is something that you have to consider. And then also, like, rethink your product and service, right? Like, how can you make your experience better, right? Upgrade your marketing plan. Things have changed. You can't be marketing the same way as you did before. Yeah, but yes. And then I think these are like the top 3 things that people should be doing right now, like during this pandemic. And now, if you want me to discuss about post-pandemic, I can continue right now, or would you like to ask me another question or something related to?
No, I'm just I just wanted to add that this is why we started this education portal. This is why we have marketing videos. This is why so that people can, while they're at home, you guys and everyone can get access to a little bit of knowledge on how to proceed and how to improve their marketing in these times. And also, there's a great opportunity that we've been promoting on site. It's a collaboration with Chat South Florida, and they're offering virtual tours. So they essentially ask different tour operators to gather videos or photos from past tours that they have done, and to put together their tours in a like in a virtual way, and they edit them and they post them on this site, and they allow people who are interested to do bookings, and to actually book for the future, or to follow that particular tour operator in the future. So that's actually a very it's one of those things that you're talking about. It's just educating people about what is happening, what do you have to offer, and just stay online. Don't disappear from social media. That's important.
Yeah. You got to stay top of mind of your customers, and people will remember your reaction during this pandemic, and so you may lose customers because they didn't like the way how you reacted during this time, and which is unfortunate. Or they might not react negatively to how you treated them, or your reaction, but they may establish relationships with somewhere else, with another, like a competitor that was out there promoting, and not like, it's not right now. If you have the potential to continue marketing, that's you should do so. Yes, you should. Ideally, you should like cut your budget and adapt your marketing plan and make sure that you adjust it to the current situation, right? But you can't stop marketing, this part of marketing is building a community, and you need to be showcasing what Belize still offers, and continue with the soft selling, right? Like this, just helping people understand your situation and getting support.
And the expectation, I noticed, is lower in terms of the quality of, or the design of the marketing, because people understand that you're doing all of this from your home, so it's the time that it's allowed to have the wrong lighting, like right now for me, in a video, because people know that you're doing this from your home and it's fine, and that just gives it like a reality kick, that it can come off as something positive, instead of doing nothing or just trying. You don't have to super well, but just stay there for the people, to be in people's mind when this ends. Which brings us to the second part of the question: how do you think businesses should prepare post-pandemic, or when everything ends?
Okay, yeah. So first, I think so you have to expect changes, and because the longer this pandemic goes for, the longer people are adapting and learning new habits and getting more comfortable with those habits, right? So people are people know that eating takeout is okay, right? They're strong. You hear it on the news all the time. It's like there's more likely that you can catch COVID from interacting with people than from getting takeout food or whatever, right? Like, it's like, so people are learning these new habits. So like you're a hotel. I heard so hotels are now allowed to open in Belize, but for locals, right? Like, or inter district travel for business or for other important aspects, right? Yeah, and they offer like in-room dining, right? This is something that if you hadn't like considered this, to have like the situation for in-room dining, you need to have that in place. Like, maybe let's say your place was the rooms were tiny and didn't have a place for someone to sit comfortably and be able to eat their food there. you need to work on this, and you have the time. Like, you should anticipate that people will want this at least for the beginning, and while people go back to normal, right? Like, people are gonna have these things that they're gonna get used to, right? Like, I know personally, I watch like a movie or like online, I watch like a concert or something, and I see everyone just like being next to each other. I'm like, whoa, aren't they scared to catch something from each other? Like, like, but this is just,
I know, I have that too.
this is just like my mindset right now. I mean,
I was like,
I expect I will, and most people will go back to normal later on, but it will take some time. So for now, people should anticipate these changes and change. And yeah, talking about anticipating changes, like, we know that cleanliness is top of mind, right? Yes, you can claim that you were clean and everything before, and I believe so that most businesses attempt to do their best when it comes to being clean. But now you have to think about simple things, about like what how do you portray that message, not even in writing, but like by showing people, right? I'll give you an example. Like, this is actually pretty old. Like, in the early 2000s, the Starwood Hotels, like the owner of Marriott and Westin, they experimented with white linen, so white bedding, and they realized that their bookings improved, increased dramatically after people when they posted those photos of the rooms being like, the bedding being white, because people like, why do people get married nowadays? And I mean, still get married nowadays in a white dress, because it signifies purity, like, it's like why, something like that. So I hope I don't lose anyone with
if
that.
If something's white and it's white, it's
yeah
clean.
yeah you people are like, okay, yeah, they won't a stain won't hide there. So think about things like this, so white bedding, it's like people are going to be more comfortable that they see the white, it's like clean, and just like, okay, if this is white, and that means that they take initiative in other places to keep the place clean. But that's just one example. And I'll say, like, also, regarding to something else I mentioned earlier, like, a post-pandemic, you also have to consider, like, okay, this is the time for some resorts to be able to shop for top talent, because like I said, some places won't care, and they're gonna lose their best tour guides or best servers, best front desk or whatever. Yeah. So this will be the time for a business to business to be able to like reach out and be like, okay, wow, like these top professionals in the field are available now to work, and then you can get them, right? And lastly, I can mention, like,
and also, I think, I just wanted to say also, the people who are looking for jobs, or who are going to look for jobs after the pandemic ends, you're going to have bigger competition, because all the people who have been in high positions, or who have been really great employees, but they had to be let go, they are going to be in the market looking for jobs alongside you. So I think it's important to improve your skills. One of our questions actually is related to that. But before we're going to that, it's important to improve your skills at home, because the market is going to be tougher after this, not just because of less job opportunities, but because you're going to be in the same like mess with people who are top employees. So you need to improve skills to come out high and to be employed. What was the other thing you wanted to say?
Oh yeah. It's okay. I was mentioning that the hotels should look into diversifying their product, and this can be like, I know, like, really great hotels here and all over the world, like, they don't only cater to people staying at their places. Like, they have like a really excellent restaurant, which is popular for locals, right? And it's popular for people traveling from outside of the locality just to go eat there. This is something important, right? Like a hotel should like invest more in their restaurant, making it not only a place for their current like clients to eat after sleeping there, like after spending the night there, and there are other things like, like invest in other products. Like a lot of resorts have these organic farms, like, like make it into a product, like sell it, like create like weekly baskets, like food baskets, or like vegetable and stuff, and sell it. Like you just have to make sure that you're catering to the local market, so you'll have to like find a way to make it more like more cheaper, right? Like because the prices are because people, the locals have less money to spend than the tourists, right? and and yeah, and there's like things like, what's stopping like a good resort from having like a beehives, like and so getting honey and selling honey, things like this. Like I would say like other examples are like, I don't know, there are some like restaurants that they grow their own, like the beef and their own like sheep. That's like a butcher shop, right? Like this is, and you sell to the public. Like I know some people are doing this, but then more businesses should do this. Like it's important to diversify your product, even if you're in the same, even if you're just like in in the hospitality industry, you can branch out to like provide more services, and these can be like sister companies, or be part of the same organization, but find ways to like have more more resilience when it comes to like economic
Development.
economic stability, I meant to say. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know,
definitely. Should we go
go
for
ahead.
questions, because we're going to be out of time soon? So we have a few very good ones. I saw this one from France Smith. I hope I pronounced your name properly. He asked, it's kind of related to what we've been talking about. What do you think using this time to learn new skills? Do you think that tourism establishments will accept some online training offerings, and what areas of training do you think that tourism players would accept most readily?
Okay, so
it's a long question.
Yeah, it's a long question, but I think it has to be more about like, so if enough people are into online learning, then the market will adapt. Then the tourism businesses will be able to respect that more, right? So if so the push has to come from like the people learning, like be like, take that more seriously and learn there. There's so much you can learn online, like and a lot of it is free. There's like websites like Coursera where you only pay if you get the certificate, but if you learn the information, like you don't need a paper to tell you what you learned, but you can just convey that information when you're in an interview. For example, and then if you, whatever you learn, like if it's like relevant to your field, the people, you can portray that in your resume, and then you could portray that in like the interview when you talk to people. Then you mention that there's like some really important, like pretty simple, like a course that you can take just on like how to improve your interview skills. And if you master that, it's you have an advantage over people.
Yeah. And I think, answering the question, yes, it is exactly the perfect time to learn new skills, because come out into that market of people who are looking for jobs as a stronger candidate. And whether you get a certificate, if you learn something, you can utilize it even if you don't get a certificate. But if you get a certificate, whether from a very fancy university or just a normal certificate or someone no one has ever heard about, it is a certificate, and it shows that you learn some new skills. And if you say that, yes, I use this time to get a certificate during coronavirus, employers will be like, oh, okay, so you weren't just sitting on your pompitas and doing nothing, you actually try to improve, so that's something. So it doesn't matter if it's an insignificant online course provider that no one's heard of. It shows that you're ready to learn. It shows that you don't give up. It shows that you're eager to do new things, which is it's very important, and that it shows a lot. So yes, definitely do online courses. In fact, I'm going to put together a list of online courses, of websites where you can take online courses. And Florida Atlantic University started an online, completely free hospitality management certificate. I'm going to try to link that on the Heritage Education Network page. So yes, learn new things.
Building on what you're saying, I think it's important for people to write down what they think are the most important things that they need to learn, and have a goal of these are my priorities, and then go out and learn those things, and in the end you'll benefit a lot. And listen to podcasts. Like, there are a lot of podcasts out there that provide information and help you get new ideas and learn new things. I'm very prolific when it comes to listening to podcasts, and a lot of the information I get is based on that, because sometimes a interviewer would interview someone that wrote a book, right? I could either read the book, or I could listen to the interviewer talk with the author and tell me exactly what the book is about and more, right? And then you learn this, you consume this information in an hour maybe, or sometimes half an hour. And just download podcasts, do your research online, and you'll find some really good learning opportunities.
And a lot of YouTubers and bloggers focus on business development, and they have channels where they one of them is a website designer, and they post help and guidance related to website design. So if you want to start your own website, you can learn so much from just following these people on YouTube, for instance. And really, it's just, it won't give you a certificate, but it will get you to the level of making your own website. You don't have to spend a lot of money, and it's great. We have another question from Aaron Juan.
I know him.
What type of tour? Oh, you know him?
Yeah.
What type of tourists do you guys think will be the first to travel?
Oh, wow. I would say, so there's a lot of speculation around this. People say it's going to be the people that had COVID and are, so they're they can't catch it again. So a lot of people think that those are going to be the individuals, and there's a lot, right? Just in the US, many people already had COVID and they're immune now, right? Well, it's believed that they're immune. So a lot of the people in the field think that those are going to be the first ones to travel, just because based on the confidence, and this is prior to there being a vaccine or a cure. If it moves later on, and if there's a vaccine, then just everyone is going to be more comfortable traveling, right? But if the vaccine takes longer to come out, then it's going to be those people that are immune in society are going to be the ones that are comfortable just being around, right? Just doing living life as the new normal, living the new normal.
And I think the first the in-country travel will start to catch on quicker, I think. So going from district to district, or going to Mexico or Guatemala, the certain small towns. So that will be first before someone from Europe or from the US decides to go take a holiday in Belize. So
you're totally right.
I think it's gonna be slowly starting up again, but so many people are eager to travel. I know our generation, I know we are super eager, to just go out and travel, to go somewhere. So it picks up faster. It's hard to detect that or or say something for certain, but
local travel is like, I mean, just like yesterday, the government of Belize already said that if for business, people can travel already, like, and hotels are open for those individuals, but they have to like stay within their hotel rooms. But yeah, so yeah, local travel. If the tourism business, like if you have a tourism business that caters to locals, then yeah, you should take advantage of knowing that locals will travel first.
Yeah, and I think backpackers will start to travel, because backpackers are the people who are eager to travel. So it's really good for the smaller businesses or the small hostels in smaller villages, because backpackers are primarily interested in those places. So be prepared for that. How much time do you have? Because I think we're running out of time.
So I have I have a meeting at 2 p.m. So I have I would say 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. So we have another question, the earliest one from April. What do you think about the restrictions that have been lifted?
So to what I know of that, I watched the news, the Belize news, like some of it yesterday. So from what I know is that they seem like they're okay. Like like some people are upset that they think the rules are draconian. Like they think it's like extreme. But that's what's necessary to stop the virus. Like you have to, like, you either have like a really, really compliant society that trusts the government and is not willing to break the rules, and then you don't have to put all these strict measures in place, like and then that's fine, right? But trust in government isn't pretty strong in Belize, so you have to enforce it, right? So enforcement is still really strong in Belize, and the rules have been relaxed. Like now there's like more travel, and some certain businesses are going to be open. So I think it's the right approach, given that they haven't found any more new cases, and so they're kind of relaxing the rules, making sure that some business open again, and it's all like purpose-driven travel. Like you need a haircut, you go to the barber shop, but you have to call before you make an appointment. And even that, I think Belizeans need to be more comfortable, like pre-ordering. Like if the grocery shop tells you that you can call them, order your stuff, and then go pick it up. Man, people pay a lot of money in North America for that service, and they just like, you can just go and you just do that. Like, come on, it's like a given that you should do it. So yeah, I think it's good, and I think as long as it's done in phases, like the rules are relaxed, so that if there is an issue, they can just claw back and be like, okay, no, like we have to close again, or we're a little bit too liberal, and we have to like maybe stop people from going to get haircuts anymore. Then it's fine.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a tricky balance between saving businesses and people's livelihoods and trying to manage the infection curve and flatten it. So it's, as long as it's monitored, and when people see that there's an increase in infections, they restrict the lockdown. They go back to stricter lockdown regulations. So it's really it's hard to decide. There's a lot of debates about it. It depends, to be honest, and you just need to monitor it. And we had a question, not in the comments, but before we started, I got a question about how to diversify so that revenue isn't only coming from in-person guests or sales, because we obviously don't have that right now.
No. Well, I think I answered this already, right? I remember I mentioned
kind of touched on that. Yeah, we kind of touched
I said that you should find other avenues to exploit. Like so one common mistake I find that Belizeans like to make is that, so they don't travel enough to foreign countries to see what is working there. Like you should go and take your vacations and see how yeah, like now, all right, now it's too late, but like I mean, like if you travel and you see what other places are doing, then you can go and replicate this, because this is basically what all other people are doing. Instead of like copying what your neighbor is doing, you go copy what someone else elsewhere is doing, and obviously it's working in that economy, in that local economy, so you can bring that here. And then if enough people do that, then it gets more advanced, like like then there's more of a spread of options for people to do different things. So yeah, like diverse, like you can find ways to diversify your. Like I said, like, oh, you own a restaurant,
Yeah.
like you 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 can,
Start
yeah,
deliveries.
yeah, start delivery. No, yeah, have a butcher shop,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, provide a basket, a basket
Yeah.
of groceries, like of vegetables or something like that. You
Yeah.
can attempt to do
Look
different
at
things.
the Yeah, you can look at the sorry, just you can look at the infrastructure you have, in your business, your restaurant, you have a kitchen. Look at the things you have in your business, and try to use those. Try to figure out a way to use those in a different way. So the same, just like how alcohol distilleries immediately in the US and in Europe too started producing alcohol for hand sanitizer, because they have the infrastructure of making alcohol, and instead of making rum or vodka or anything, they started using infrastructure to create hand sanitizers, and they stay in business, and it's just until the this pandemic lasts. After all this, they're going to go back, but they're going to be remembered as, oh, you were the distillery who delivered thousands and thousands of hand sanitizers for us. And then if you have a restaurant, start home delivery. People already, people, you already call the restaurant or the shop that sells fried chicken to be ready when you come pick it up. And you can utilize that. You have a kitchen, you can start deliveries, and it's similar to every other business. Just be inventive and look at what you have, make a note of what you have,
I
and
think
then
I think something
repurpose them,
important also is to
basically.
to like always be on the lookout for opportunities that you can exploit, right? Like this is like the
Yeah.
common, like, known definition of an entrepreneur is like someone that exploits opportunity, right? They see a
Yeah.
situation and they seize upon it and then take advantage of it. Like, and this is not in a negative way, but
Mhm.
like, for example, Belizean, like, you look at the population, right? How it's divided. Like the majority of people are like young, right? Like below 20. What are the needs of those people? Like that, as a business owner, that's why you have to think about, like, be like, based on the market. Like, these people need what? They need uniforms, or they need toys, they need what? Like, go into that avenue, because you know that if the people are there, that means the money is there. And so it's as simple as being able to, like, look
Mhm.
at the statistics and be like, okay, all right, so that looks promising, and try different things. And also,
Mhm.
I consider that you have to, this is important, that people have to, like, band together to, like, demand more from the government. Like, if you form a business association, if you're in, like, San Ignacio, or if you're in Belmopan or whatever, so that as like, the sum is stronger than its parts, right? So if there's like a group of
Mhm.
50 business owners, right, that they can influence policy,
Mhm.
because they're like, government, we need this, and you know what, we employ a lot of people, and if you want to be elected, like, we demand that you are more, you pay more attention to us, like, to the constituents. And of course, hopefully this is used for a positive means, but like, there are a lot of situations where I see that, like places where that organize themselves, like businesses that organize themselves, they are successful at being able to lobby the government, because they're, like I said,
Mhm.
they're stronger together, and they're able to achieve more.
Mhm. Yeah. I think we have time for one last question, because you'll have
Okay.
to go. Um, Rebecca is asking, do you know of good ways, social, to diversify your revenue base? Like online sales. something like that.
So I didn't hear the question. You broke up.
Oh, okay. Do you know of good ways to use social media to diversify your revenue base, like, or online sales?
Yeah. So I have to admit, I'm not sure if all the technology is there for Belizean businesses to use, like Instagram for selling and so forth, or Facebook. But there is Facebook Marketplace and so forth. But yeah, like of course there is like the ways how you can target specific people on Instagram, because that's where they are, and versus people being on social media. I mean on Facebook. There's a different size. There's a different target segment, like in different places, right? Like people on Instagram are much younger than people on Facebook. So you should approach the different platforms differently.
Yeah, and you can use the online platforms to promote different products and services. So you have as operators, for instance, you have tours that as a service that you provide. The sales of those are obviously on zero because nobody is traveling. But as a tour operator, you can develop online itineraries, for instance, that others can download, and you can set it up. A lot of courses that you can take on that, and you can Google how to do it or watch YouTube videos on how to do it. That's when the improving your skills comes in. But create online itineraries, itineraries that people can download, and then promote those. That's a bit something. Or write a book you can sell, or something, or look at what people are in need of, and do that and sell it. Or start an email list and try to grow your email list, and all of these things. So it opens a whole new field of opportunities what you can do online. And if you don't get massive itinerary sales, people will still know that you're there, obviously, or they look at your itinerary, and you can kind of link your social media in the PDF, and then you get more followers. And there are these like small tricks that you can do, and also prepare for when the pandemic ends, and you can also stay in people's head,
Top of mind.
and that's another way.
Yeah. So something that is important that I want to emphasize is that businesses should be using Google My Business for to promote themselves. It's so important, and there's like so many things that you can do to change it, to like optimize it, right? If you claim your listing, and then you go and fill out the information part, like there's various sections, like what's your target audience, when you were established, what are the services you provide, and also like post photos, because people need, like, often people are looking for social proof. Like they find you online, and then they're like, is this person real? Will they like scam me, or are they, do they have reviews? People reviews, like all right, so there's like a statistic that like I think it's like 70%, like 80% of people trust online reviews as if it's like coming from a friend. Like, so if the more reviews you have in different places, it's way better. And if it's fake, I just so you know that also there's studies that show that people don't trust perfect reviews. Like it's like life isn't perfect. So if
but if you don't have reviews, ask friends or ask previous clients to write a review. Send out a message to them, people, to write a review for you, and then you can start gathering reviews. And then one very quick thing you can do: just Google Business, and just you don't have. I don't think you have to sign up, but just like go through the process of
Google My Business, yes,
of registering your business there. So you would have like a Google page, and that's free. Really quick. You just go online, Google it, and do it, and then it's free, and you already look more legitimate.
Yeah, like
you know, and you also come up in searches.
Yeah,
Very
so I
easy.
actually
Yeah.
created one for my friend in San Ignacio, Carlton from Back to My
Mhm.
Roots. I created his page when I was there, and man, like just in the few first month, like he got so many views. People are looking online, and people are seeing what yeah. Now like if you search for something like on Google by name, like a business, it's gonna pop up. The Google My
Mhm.
Business like listing is gonna pop up
Yeah,
first before even the website.
exactly.
And if you are able to have a good website and you have your information synchronized, like optimize on both ends, your both will be better.
Yeah.
And yeah, one last thing I would like to
Yeah, and
emphasize.
it's so easy, and if you don't know how to do it,
Yeah.
you can Google
So
it, you
one
know.
last thing I would like to
Yes.
emphasize is that if you're a small business, it is so important for you to look at who is doing what and learn from them. Like these big companies that are really good. Like
Mhm.
they have more time and effort. I mean, more time, and they can pay people more or more revenue, so they invest in marketing. You should be using them as like as okay, so what are they doing and how can I follow in their footsteps or improve on what they're doing? So that is how marketing works,
Mhm.
right? You know, and don't be shy of like
Mhm.
trying new things, experimenting, and be yourself when you're in social media. Like people are
Yeah,
looking
very
for this. That's
important.
what I was saying. Like I saw like the video from Lucy Fleming from Chalk Creek, and I was like, and I remember I was there earlier this year. I mean, yeah, last year December, and I was like, and I saw the grounds, and I saw her, and I was like, oh my god, like like I miss being there. Like like this is how you make a connection. Like
Yeah.
you have to be
Mhm.
yourself and be unique and just try to put yourself
Mhm.
out there, and you will get good vibes from the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good closing line.
Yeah.
Because you have to go. But thank you for being here, and thank you for everything and giving us all of this advice. And I hope that people enjoyed it. And I think you would be able to ask more questions from Lorenzo, later on. I don't know if you want to provide your email. I think you mentioned
Yeah. So okay.
you have a
So
business that people can reach you.
yeah. So you can reach out to me if you want. I would say you can just like write a comment here, and I'll come back tomorrow, and I'll read them and answer them. If you have a question, you can just post it here in the comment.
Yeah, that's also good.
And tomorrow, when I have some time, I'll come back and answer them if possible. But yeah, but you
Okay,
can
well,
follow
it's a
me
good
on
way.
social media too and reach out to me. I am at Belize
Yeah,
Adventure on Instagram or Facebook.
yeah. So that's if you have any other questions, you can contact Lorenzo. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
And you have to go, so thank you, and hope you guys enjoy this session and look out for more videos and Q&As from us in the future. So thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you.